Hi there, I'm Greg Ceccarelli, co-founder of Specstory, and I'm teaching a course on Maven this August called Hardcore Agentic Engineering. So if you're like me, you probably use coding agents all day, every day, and you see your coding agents say they're done. Well, have you ever wondered what actually told your agentic loop to stop? If you look into the source code of two very popular open source harnesses, Codex and Pi, what you'll find is that in each case, the turn stops when the LLM produces no more tool calls. So, in one sense, done is often an opinion, or better stated, the next most probable token output by the underlying model being used. So, what's interesting to me is that software teams sort of solved this problem with human teams 20 years ago. They call it definition of done, and it's the contract that is made between individuals that makes done actually mean done. And so I think that one of the best skills to learn in terms of agentic engineering is how to provide and harness a definition of done for your agent. In this case, what I mean by that is having a harness that supervises your harness that provides checks that an agent can't fake its way out of, meaning it doesn't actually see or understand what those checks are, and a separate process verifies it. You might be asking yourself, isn't this just test-driven development? Well, I think the core difference here is in TDD, you write the test and you decide you're done. And in this case, I'm suggesting something slightly different. The agent that you're driving never actually sees the gate or the check that is run to determine whether to stop it. A lot of this will make a lot more sense if you see it in action. So for the next, 30 seconds to a minute, we're going to watch two agents being driven with the same prompt, one naked and the other harnessed with a check that's going to make sure that it keeps turning until it actually passes that check. All right. Here we are, and I've launched two Claude Code sessions with the same prompt, which is to write a slugify function. But the check I'm using as my gate on the right hides a rule that neither prompt actually includes. It's an ampersand becomes the word and, so salt and pepper has to come out salt dash and dash pepper. On the left, Claude alone. It wrote the function here. It says, I'm all done, ready to ship, and stops. But it never actually checks for this rule because it doesn't know about it. And so whenever you run the test independently, it's going to fail and there's a bug. It expected salt and pepper and it got salt dash pepper. On the right, you'll see Claude in the harness that I created. It says done, but then it ran the gate, a real test that Claude couldn't fake. The gate fails, so it hands the failure back to Claude. Claude is going to fix it. Eventually it will pass, and then it will stop. If this was interesting to you and you want more, you want to talk about this live, see a much more robust example, and get exposed to some open source that can actually help you write done in plain English so that you don't have to be writing deterministic checks by yourself, I'd invite you to join me for an hour on July 14th at 4 p.m. Eastern on Maven for a free lightning lesson that'll run about an hour with an open Q&A on this topic. It's called Build a Definition of Done for Claude Code and Codex, and you can register right here at git.specstory.com/define-done. Hope to see you there.